I'm the principal researcher at Arlo. I'm responsible for increasing the value for the business through customer value and really just helping customers make progress in their life. So basically, I'm helping the organization develop more predictable growth, ability to move faster than the competition, mitigate risks to minimize losses. I'm here to scale research, increase learning velocity, and level up the team's mindsets, habits, and skills. So there's two levels of progress that I was trying to make for the team, the business, and myself. The overarching goal beyond the project was basically to get our teams to speak the language of business. So this is kind of a long game, but the challenge was the teams are very focused on user interface design, not necessarily connecting the work to customer value or customer's desired outcome and business outcomes. In my mind, I'm always trying to surround myself with who I want to become, right? So I think about, should be thinking about like, who do you want your team to become and who do you want your company to become? If you want your company to become more customer obsessed, then you want to partner with people that are customer obsessed. It's already in the DNA. So so that's the way I think about it. So why UXReactor it's because I'm trying to get our teams and the company to kind of adopt these growth mindsets, to become more curious, to develop a business acumen, to develop continuous iteration and discovery and research habits, making better decisions, and increasing kind of positive collaboration between team members. So I kind of see UXReactor as being this like connective tissue to these big company initiatives and the vision that I have for research within the company. The biggest thing is this tremendous ability to listen. Like, no matter where I go, where I work, and anyone that I've ever worked with, this is like one of those overlooked skills. People think they have it, but they haven't really mastered it. And it's really hard to sit back and listen and not jump to solutions right away. So UXReactor is really good at this deep, active listening to each of the stakeholders and everyone they're working with before putting a plan in place. Because if you don't do that, you run the risk of putting the wrong plan in place, answering the wrong questions. So listening means slowing down, right? And which is counterintuitive to moving fast, but you have to first slow down to move fast. So I think that's one of the things that was great, is helping the team slow down so we can move fast. The team, when we engaged with UXReactor, was just moving so fast that it was hard for us to think through the problems we're trying to solve. And by stepping through, for example, going through a design review, stepping through that and slowing the team down as we went through that helped kind of gain clarity. And you can't gain clarity without that deep listening that takes place. Arlo is both a hardware and a software company. So when we were doing usability testing of the onboarding experience for our Essential 2 product line, we had to look at the physical design of the hardware. So the affordances of the buttons, there's firmware dependencies. Is the firmware the right version on the camera? And then there's the software. So things can go wrong at all these different levels. And without understanding the complexities of how these things work together, you just increase the risk of a research project going wrong in multiple places. So UXReactor really took the time to, again, listen and go deep and break everything down into consumable chunks to understand where things could possibly go wrong, not just from a usability perspective, but from a testing perspective. Like this is a big kind of risk project with a high investment to it. And so we couldn't risk the failure of not being able to run the research. It was a big orchestration of events that was taking place, which multiple team members, at Arlo and at UXReactor had to kind of collaborate and work on, in the evenings sometimes and weekends a little bit. So really just going above and beyond was pretty impressive, the amount of work that went into it. The investment on the research paid for itself and more. We worked with UXReactor past the project. So this is, again, going above and beyond the project and then helping me answer a different question outside of the research, which is how do we help our teams develop more business acumen and speak the language of business. So what UXReactor helped with was a sort of mapping the impact of the work and the research to these business outcomes. So there was at least a 10x return on the investment by reducing support calls, reducing poor customer reviews, and just making sure the returns aren't happening at the rate that they might have if we didn't do the research. I think the larger vision in the impact that UXReactor has had, at least for me, is helping in that goal of increasing our learning velocity in the organization, and two, transforming unhealthy criticisms into healthy debate, and helping our teams just increase their curiosity and leaning into the challenges that are ahead of us. Yeah, after working with UXReactor, there was a lot of discussion on the particular project that we were working on throughout the organization. It just developed an even stronger hunger for doing more research. So Arlo is now becoming a much more customer obsessed, biased towards action organization, which is super exciting. We're at a super exciting time in the company. And you can't be customer obsessed without research and engaging with your customers. And you can't have a bias towards action unless you're doing that over and over again and iterating and continuously having those feedback loops in place as part of the process. So UXReactor has been an integral piece of the plan to increase our learning velocity and change how we work together internally.